welcome to Middle Earth, Wellington. Okay, we're on a A320neo. We're flying from Wellington to Queenstown this afternoon. Just got on board and the APU's already going. We'll get into it. Now I've got my EFB. I'm using my personal iPad as an EFB, so it's got all my airline information on it, so I don't really want to share that. I'm not allowed to anyway. So we'll just have a look here. Flight plan, we're NZ607, Wellington, Queenstown. Weight-wise, reasonably heavy, but there's certainly no problems with landing weight issues or anything like that. Takeoff weights. Looks like it's a pretty straightforward flight, not much wind up top. Fuel we've got on board is pretty much a bare bone min fuel today. Block fuel of 5.3. Right, alternate Christchurch with 30 minutes. Okay, so we're off 16. SABDA, it's pretty much standard SABDA down to overhead Christchurch, and then LRUV, and then we'll pick up the 05 arrival into Queenstown. We'll have a look at the weather, just see if that's still good approach for us, arrival and approach for us. But we'll be going down at 380. We'll do the performance. I've got, again, performance on my iPad, so I'll use that performance, but I'll run the performance on the aircraft EFB as well, just to get the right trim for the McDo, so we don't get that pesky little warning on takeoff if we don't have the trim set correctly. Right, weather-wise, out of Wellington, yes, just a moderate southerly basically, overcast at 2500, 11 degrees. Queenstown, oh, they've actually got a Meta and a TAF for us, that's great. So, it's saying basically it's going to be southwestern, then turning 05 from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Actually, a prudent pilot would put on another approach and landing, which we might do, because we might get down there and it might still be 23, or we could get a shift and it could change to 05. So we might have to, go around and fly the opposite runway. So we might put another approach on. With that in mind, Christchurch is overcast at 1300. From 0300 to 0600, which is pretty much us. Light rain, southerly, 1600 base, and possibly dropping to 800 feet. And that's midnight tonight, so that's okay. It won't come into play for us. Okay, so take us out of this, off to the south in Wellington, possible runway change in Queenstown, so we'll add another approach, and the alternate's not great in Christchurch, but it's still operable. NOTAM wise, no, we're not going to spend too much time on that. Here's the flight plan. Not much in the way of wind up top, headwind though, but 20 odd knots. No cat, so that is that. So with that in mind, let's ask for a little bit more gas. So 5.3 was, so let's put on another 1.3. That's still okay for landing weight. So where we go, load here, 1.3, we've got 5.5 on board, so 1.3 plus was the flight plan? 5.3, 6.3, 6.5. Okay, we'll just do a quick fuel on that. Okay, so we've got the gas on board, so welcome aboard. Okay, so obviously the preliminary cockpit preparation flow is heavily sided to the FO, so I'll start the FO side. So obviously the wheel chocks are in, the landing gear doors and the AP area we checked as we boarded the plane. Engine masters are off, engine mode selectors norm, weather radar, wind shear is off. Landing gear lever is down, that's a good start. Both wipers are off. Obviously we've got power established, so the batteries are on already. External power has been disconnected. Radio management panels, yeah, 22.8. We're on VATSIM. There's no ATC though, so we'll just have CTAF procedures in place. ACP's set. APU fire test. Done. AP is already going. Bleeds on. Okay. Bleeds on. Air conditioning is on. External power is disconnected. IR selectors to nav. Cockpit lights are set. It's fine for now. Okay, and I might as well just finish the PM stuff and then I'll do the CM1 stuff. We've already set up our charts, EFBs. We'll do the aircraft acceptance, so this is where the captain would select the recall, check you got the norm on the engine warning display, and have a look at the logbook, make sure everything's good. So that's the aircraft accepted. The first officer would obtain the ATIS information, and it's probably not going to be there because by now the captain would have initialized the ACARs by doing the init request that loads the flight plan basically. So when I do the weather now, I don't think there's going to be an ATIS, but we'll see. No ATIS, so we'll get the META, next best thing. All those airports. Print. Okay, so obtain the weather. I tell you what, it's easier if I just start the CM1 stuff because it's too confusing otherwise. So CM stuff. So I've already initialized the ACARs. I'll set up my EFBs, which I've done already. You can't see. Now it's just the pre-initialization of the FMGC. So basically I am going off this page and checking the correct engine and database, then I go back to that page. Whoops, NIT A, and check its Wellington, Queenstown, Christchurch flight number to and from. Yeah, so it's all good. Charts are done. Aircraft acceptance is done. There's no OEBs. Talk about the equipment on board this aircraft. And then it is basically doing the takeoff performance. So okay, which I can't do here. So I'm going to do it on my EFB. I'll tell you what I'm selecting. I'm selecting Wellington 16 full length. Why that's not, oh, here we go. That's a bit up. We'll just pretend this is the outer, so I'll just use the actual wind there. So it's, we use 150 at 15 knots. Temperature is 11, so we'll use, say, 12 degrees. QNH 1014, so we can use that, that's fine. Runway is dry, NGOs is off, and the takeoff weight projected for us is going to be our zero fuel weight of 59.9. And how much fuel do we want? 6.5. So we'll burn, say, 100 on the taxi, so 6.4. So our takeoff weight will be 66.3. 66.3 in my EFB. And I'll use everything else standard. Select config 2, and I'll compute that performance now. So the first officer would do the same thing on their EFB. Okay, and then I've got a solution. First officer's got a solution, so I'd say preliminary performance cross-check. It's Wellington 16, config 2, flexing 62, 130, 135, 137, green dot 218. Checked. So we're basically checking we've got the same prelim data. So we're both on the same page with regards to aircraft performance on departure. You might pick up here if you needed, if you're really heavy and your performance limited, you might find that you had to do a PAX on APU, PAX off, that sort of thing, or maybe you had to change the flap to flap 3 or that sort of thing. So it's formulating an early plan for the performance. Okay, so that's performance cross-check done, and now the first officer would finish off the rest of their flow, so they're going here. Now I've got to go up to the overhead and turn the FADEX, power the FADEX, go back down here, and we've got oil quantity minimum. It's good, so it's minimum is 14 in the Neo. Okay, unpower that. Okay, so engine's good, hydraulics, yeah, levels are good, and auto. Okay, brake accumulator, brakes are on, accumulator pressure's in the green. And first officer will go off and do the walk around. So that's basically the preliminary performance set up there between the CM1, which is the captain, and CM2, which is the first officer, and then PF, which is the captain in this case, and PM, which is the first officer in this case. So it's a checklist which is in the QRH, and it's kind of like a read and do. So because there's no organised flow for this, so it's a read and do between two pilots. Okay, so the first officer's gone out to do the walk around. So after that, I'll start with the overhead flow. So there's a bit more I have to do on the radio management panel, or sorry, the ACP panel, to do the cockpit voice recorder test, but I'm lazy, I'm not going to do that. So looking for a tone, that's good. Okay, no flags, strobes auto, nav 1. I'm not sure if we've got the fuel yet, so we'll just keep the seatbelt sign off. Emergency lights are armed. Okay, APU is going with the APU bleed on. Temperatures are good. Whoops, electric page. So now we're checking the charge state of the battery, so we turn them off, turn turn them back on within 10 seconds and should be below 60 amps, which it is, which means they're charged. Okay, cool. Now we'll select the fuel page, and the pump's already on, I see. Okay, and we don't have to test the crossfeed because it's not an E2 flight, so yep, good to go. We'll do the engine 1 fire tests. I would look down for the other lights, but I'm just not going to do that now. Yep, all good. Now the center MIP here. While we're here, QNH is 1014. So I'm going to set that right now. 1014, no flags on the ISIS. Gear 3 greens. Anti-skid switches on. And yep, clock is good. Okay, center console. Turn you auto off, that's set. Okay, speed brakes down, normal, off, idle, just check that. They're a norm, switching panel. And flaps are up. One system, because I'm flying. That's off, 2000 set, that's set there. Alright, so let's do the MAC2 now. So I'll just get my flight plan on the EFB. Okay, right, position, we'll check that position against the gate coordinates, and we'll say it's fine. And just so it happens that they're aligned and they're all in nav, and yeah, that's good. We've already gone through and checked this during the preliminary performance setup by the QRH, so that's all good. Wellington, Queenstown, Christchurch alternate, correct flight number, correct cost index, and it was balmy 11 degrees unfortunately, not 15. Clear that, clear that, clear that. 380 minus 54 checks. Right, and we are, again, I can't show you the charts because it's on my EFB. ETV 1 Quebec departure to Sabda. So we're off runway 16. And we're going to Sabda, insert. Essex, Christchurch. Okay, we'll just leave that for now, that's fine. If we go there, and if I go Essex, wind, request, real life that loads automatically in the uplink. It's okay though. Okay, so winds are in, secondary, copy. We'll do a lateral revision and we'll do a quick return back to Wellington. ILS 16, Zulu. Set, secondary, performance, next phase. Okay, we'll just chuck in the wind, the weather conditions for a return. 014. 11 degrees. 150 at 16. So this is all set up. So if we have a, emergency that requires a immediate landing, we can just activate the secondary. Good to go. I know that's 300. Whoop, not 3000. We'll just leave it config full, and that's fine, 1500, and I know engine out is 3000. Okay, for what it's worth, we'll select Wellington and manual tune. VOR set there. Right, so our prelim load sheet says, I'm just going to do this so I can get the trim up 0.4. Okay, so 59.9, 29.2, 59.9, 29, decimal 2. It's already in there. Okay. Excellent. Ooh, interesting. So it's overridden my fuel. Chrome. Hopefully it doesn't take it out. Okay, we've been refueled now, and it's 6.5. Keep an eye on that. There's another check we do for fuel, so we'll come back to that. Trip burn makes sense compared to the flight plan. Obviously there's our extra fuel, and landing weight is below max landing weight for Queenstown, so we're supposed to check that. Okay, performance. Okay, I'll have a look at my performance figures, and they are very, very close. So I might, apart from the flex is 62 on mine and not 73. So I actually might use the performance figures here, but I'll just change the flex. Okay. Okay. How's that? Okay. So no, not quite. 135. Thrust acceleration 800 feet. That's above mean sea level, of course. 2 up 0.04. And I'm going to use my flex from my EFB, which is 62. Engine acceleration's 15, 20, 40 actually. Again, this is from my EFB.
Wellington traffic, Qantas 16.
No pre-select.
We'll be landing at 0530 Zulu.
Okay, we might change that cruise altitude once we get airborne. And Wellington 16. Okay. Right, let's, before we do the rest of my flow, let's get the EFB over here all set up and good to go. Okay, so that's good. That's ground services. I'm just going to remove the chocks now. Everything's closed up. There's no faults. It's all good. And yep, okay. Okay, back from the walk around. So I think you initially cleared 250 for ATC requirements. Okay, QNH is set, that's all good. Okay, we'll do the oxygen test. Come around here. Speeds, climb nav, 1FT2, 250 blue. Checking the QNH and the elevations correct. And between the two, PFD altitude-wise correct. Nav display is good. Alright. So we're all closed up. So we'll pretend the flight attendants come up and said, okay, we'll pretend we've got our, we call it a NOTOC. So it's just a cargo manifest basically, telling us if we've got any special load or dangerous goods on board, and we'll say we've got that. Pretend we've got the fuel, and we've sent our electronic fuel, we call it an EFOS, through to the company, and that's all done. We've got the prelim load sheet, so we're just waiting on the final load sheet, which unfortunately is not simulated here, so we'll just have to pretend we get that soon. So clearance wise, ATC, no, there's no ATC online. Okay, so let's have a quick talk about the clearance first. So again, sorry, can't see my chart, but it's reasonably straightforward. So I would, because I'm flying, I would talk about what's loaded in here, and we'll just keep 2000 there. And the PM would check the clearance that what I've loaded is what is reflected in the clearance. So it's off runway Wellington 16. It's the NZWN Quebec departure to Sabda at 250 is a hold down and squawking 2000. Check. Okay. Okay, emergency brief. Let's do that then. Prior to 100 knots, I'm going to reject for any non-normal. Prior to V1 for engine failure, fire, unsafe condition. How do after V1 I'll continue. There's a brace broken 2200 feet. Hey, if it's real critical and we need to get the aircraft on the ground, we can carry out the left-hand circuit back in for 16. We want to take our time, which is probably what we want to do. We'll just engine failure procedure, there's no turning flight path, so it's just pull heading, track, fly straight ahead, engine out, acceleration minimum
traffic Qantas 163
1520
is 6 miles from runway 16 Wellington traffic.
Climb to 4000 on the radar, and we've got the ILS 16 in the secondary, and we'll be below max landing weight, I believe. Yep, below max landing weight. Okay, okay, think of any threats for our departure today? No, I agree, no threats. Charts would pretend we've got the correct charts. The NZWN Quebec, it's on 10-3 Bravo. There's no hold downs apart from the 250 on the SID. Transitions 130. Terrain is 5400 to the south. If we come back for the ILS, it's about 4800 feet. Weather's great, just a lower space at 2200. Well, it's not really low, and dry runway. Went straight down the strip. Operationally, no operational considerations. Any questions? No. Okay, the cockpit preparation checklist, gear pins and covers, they are removed. Fuel quantity is 6,480 kilos balanced. Okay, so that hasn't changed, so that's good. Seatbelts are on. ADRUs, nav, BRF, QNH 1014, and that's the cockpit preparation checklist complete. Okay, let's pretend we get the load sheet, and it's exactly the same. The performance figures are exactly the same. So we accept the load sheet. We confirms that we've got the correct zero fuel weight CFG and takeoff weight. Yep, we do, compared to the load sheet. Then we go, right, final performance calculation will be based on, the only change will be the McDo takeoff weight, which is 66.2, and it's still the same, so that's good. So there's no requirement to do another takeoff calculation. So I'll say final performance cross check. I'll say my EFB takeoff weight that I used is 66.2, McDo is 66.2. It's a Paxon anti-ice off runway 16, 0 shift, flap 2, flex 62, engine out 1540, V1 135, VR 135, V2 138, thrust reduction acceleration's 820, and we've got a green dot of 215, and the pilot monitoring says, looks at there, EFB, and says yes, green dot 215, takeoff data checked. Okay, we're all closed up, tugs there, ground flight deck, park brake set, I'll say roger that. Then I'll say confirm all ground checks complete, and I'll say ground checks complete, steering lock up and installed, ready for push. Okay, and we'll get push and start. Wellington traffic, New Zealand 607 on stand 16, pushing and starting. Wellington. Right. Cleared to push. Beacon. And just go transponder there. Go auto actually transponder. Right. The full start checklist noise steering disconnect is displayed. Parking brake is on. Takeoff speeds 135, 135, 138, flex 62, and PM would go 135, 135, 138. Flex 62, and I'm looking here for the 135 and 38. Windows closed. Beacon on. Full start check display. Right. Ground clear to push. Roger that. Release brakes. Brakes released.
Starting push back. And you may start engines.
Alright, we're off. Pretty quiet out here today. Okay, right. Okay, we got the cooling, but no time, so we don't need dual cooling. Okay, starting one.
Wellington traffic, Qantas 163 is clear for runway 16, Wellington traffic.
Okay, good start, stand 2. Hopefully I don't block Bravo 7.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Okay, it's meant to turn. Alright. Parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Alright, pay attention now. It's a good start. So, PF after start flow. Alright, it was up 0.4. Yep, I'll get to you soon. Lap 2. Too good. Starts cleared to disconnect.
disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time, and have a safe flight.
Okay, right side. Okay, pin in the wave. After start checklist. Any ice off. ECAM status is checked. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to check. Doors, yeah. Pitch trim is, we'll just say it's 29.5 set. Rudder trim is neutral. After start checklist complete. Okay, flight controls. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Okay. Wellington traffic, New Zealand 607, taxiing for runway 16 Wellington. Brake check. Okay, the taxi flow is brakes, terrain for you. Radar, predicted wind shear. Hopefully the oil temps are good. Not quite, nearly. 50, so nearly there. Just keep that muster cushion there and it'll go out when the oil temperatures, I think it's 52, goes out. There we go. Alright, no change. Brake max climb nav 1FT2 250 blue, flexing 62, still good. And the taxi checklist.
Wellington, traffic New Zealand 445 is established on ILS DME Zulu approach 13 mile final.
Okay, noted. Taxi checklist, flight controls check. Flap setting config 2. Config 2. Radar predicted wind shear is on auto. Engine mode select is norm. ECAM memo is takeoff no blue. Taxi checklist complete. is better. Alright, had the time, brake temperatures, good. Right, I think we've got time to depart. Wellington traffic, New Zealand 607, lining up departing runway 16. We'll be departing to the south on the ATVEV1 Quebec, Wellington. Alright, there's the windsock, more or less down the strip, maybe a slight crosswind, but nothing to write home about. Clear for takeoff. Oops. All good to go. I'll take it on the roll. I'll say take off. Mayflex 62 SRS runway to thrusters armed. Check. Thrust set. 100 knots, check. The runways in real life's not contoured like this. V1, rotate. Positive climb, gear up. Nav, gear up. Might as well hand fly for a bit. You know what? I've got to have a look at the wing views. Nice.
Wellington traffic, New Zealand 445 is a 5-mile final for runway 16 to land.
Thrust on climb auto thrust. Flap 1, speed check. Flap 1. Wellington traffic, New Zealand 607, airborne through 1700, climbing 380 on the ATVEV1 Quebec, Wellington. Lap 0, speed check. Lap 0. Alright. Acceleration flow. Temperature 14. It's okay. Okay, let's pretend we can negotiate 360. So that's lower than what we planned, so I have to manually insert this. 360, 360 blue. Okay, don't anticipate it getting any bumpier than this, it's only light, so we'll get the cabin crew out. Bounce, it's a quick flight. I just changed the. Oh, it is actually still. Yeah, okay. Fine. Thought it was a little bit later in the time. Seatbelt sign off.
Wellington, traffic New Zealand 445 back ahead via Alpha 9, taxiing to gate 16 via Alpha Bravo 7, Bravo and Quebec.
Transition. Set standard, set cross check 13,400. Now check. Throwing button off. Let's get some track shortening going on. My 10,000 flow, so it's normally you'd select a pro airport, deselect, this is the PM, deselect our nav aids and say, what do you think of altitude? Yeah, we'll stop at 3.6, that's fine. I'll just put 2-3 in for now. So the Kaikoura Rangers is poking through. Right, Queenstown was reporting just a light 040 at 2 knots. Overcast at 1200, okay. 5 degrees, so we'll need engine anti-ice on, possibly even wing anti-ice. Tell you what. Let's see if there's an update. Wellington. Oops. Okay, Queenstown. Okay, it's 050 at 5. 13 broken. 3 degrees, 1017. Okay, so it's actually pretty convincing 05 at this stage, so we'll just plan on that. And then in the secondary we'll set up probably for 2-3, just in case. Say again? What was that? Okay, right. So it will be the LRUV 4 Alpha. approaches. The approaches they have in Navigraph are a little bit different to what we have in real life. Reasonably close, but yeah. Close enough for government work. Okay, okay, I've just been selecting the arrival on the approach on my EFP, which you unfortunately can't see. So, Elra 4 Alpha, RNP Zulu 05. So since we're doing nothing, we'll do that now. So it will be the Elra 4 Alpha. Of course, you have to work backwards. So the approach is via Obebu. Elra 4 Alpha. RNP 05. Bebu, Elra 4 Alpha, insert. Interesting. Okay, that missed approach is totally different to what I have. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's very different. It's fine. We have to deal with what we've got. Well, that ortho looks great, doesn't it? Look at that. Wow. $1,000 to go. Back at the start. Our cruise. Okay, let's check the constraints on the arrival and the approach. Yep, understood. Okay, so let's check the arrival first, and that's the LR4 Alpha. So the first constraint for us will be a boo-boo. So So on my chart I've got between 10 and 12. Yep, it's fine. Okay, now we're looking at the approach. Navigraph at CR Zulu runway 05. Right. So Queenstown 577 is 10,000. Okay, it's already different. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. RNP Zulu, did I select the wrong approach? Let's go back in here. Okay, that's correct. No, I've got different waypoints. 0505. Ah, here we go. Right. Okay. Okay, that's making more sense now. Although it's the Zulu, not Yankee. Okay, one more go. Zulu, Ibubu. Yep, that's it. Okay, we got it right this time. We got it right. Okay, it's the RNP Zulu 05. That's what I've got. That matches there. Bubu between 10 and 12. Yep. It's actually on my chart 577. That's 529. Fuck's sakes. So it doesn't match. Oh. From the FAP, it does. Omubu, it's correct. But apart from that, it's not. It's really disappointing. How are we going? Good. Okay. Okay, we're in business. We got there in the end. Okay, 577. That should be at 10. It's got plus 10 there. That's okay. SATA is 92. Yep, correct. TPEG is 82. Yes. Panto is 71. Yep. Dubig is 63. Yes. Mobga 55. There's no speeds yet. There normally is a speed, but there's not in this case. Okay, obviously they've taken that out. It's been a while since I've been into Queenstown in real life. Mubu is 3,100 feet. That's the biggie. Yep, 31, and then it's basically coded from there at 3.2 all the way down. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, now that missed approach is looking bang on, what it should be in real life. Although it doesn't have those speeds in there. Max, oh, it does have max 145. The poo. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. It's got the minus 10. Yeah. Yep, that's good. Okay, so flight plan's good. Alright, just get our head back outside and see where we are. Good, yep. Okay, so flight plan's good. Navrad, just don't need that. Queenstown there. It's good. Right, performance. Queenstown. Weather is 050 at 3. QNH, that's the most important. 1016. Temperatures tropical 3 degrees. So we're going to need the engine and the ice for this approach. Transition, and we're going to use 0.3. Oh, that's all they've got here. 0.3 min. Huh. Okay. 2324. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use what I would in real life, because it's way too high. Okay, we use, well, it's changed quite a bit. We use 0.1 min, 1560. Right, we have to modify this. 3,000 for the thrust reduction, 4,000 for the acceleration. This is all because of terrain, and 4,000 for the engine out. Ding, 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 ding. Secondary, we're just going to copy. We're just going to do 05 tonight. Today. Whoops. Okay, I need to do a landing calculation, and I'm going to use my AFB again for that. Queenstown 05. Now I'm gonna do it based on couple knot tail, so I'm gonna base it on 4 knot tail, 3 knot tail at this stage. So tail 3 knots, I'll do 4 degrees. I'll do 1015 just in case the temperature QNH drops again, and it is dry down there, so we'll do dry, and we'll do engine and wing on. Now, landing weight, we're going to have 4.1 fuel remaining according to here, and if we go there, our zero fuel weight was it's there. Okay, what was our zero fuel weight? It was 59.8. $63.9, so say 64 landing. We won't add any delta on the approach speed. Try brakes medium at this stage and reverse compute. It's reasonably short runway in Queenstown, obviously. Okay, that's fine. So it's a margin of 142 meters. So brakes medium will work fine for us now. I'm going to work out the maximum tailwind we can accept for brakes medium. So I'm going to modify that, and I'll increase the tailwind to 6 knots. Compute. Yep, that works. So let's do 8 knots. Compute. That works. So do I try 9 knots? Compute. Okay, so 8 knots is our max tailwind for brakes medium. And obviously if we go manual we can do that calculation, but we'd probably, yeah. So 8 knots is the max tailwind, brakes medium. So that's cool. Have that figure in the back of our mind. All right. Okay, so let's do a quick brief. Threats going into Queenstown today. We'll talk about any threats that we might have. Obviously, you know, Queenstown being Queenstown, there's mountainous terrain, but we'll stick to the arrival and the approach. Standard operating procedures mitigate that threat. Short runway, we've done the landing calc. Brakes medium, we can take up to 8 knot tail on brakes medium. Any other threats? No, might get some ice on the approach, believe it or not. Although looking ahead, it's looking pretty clear anyway, so we'll take that as a come. But anyway, we can mitigate any icing with the engine and wing anti-ice. What we've loaded is the RNAV 05 Zulu. Abubu is the initial approach, and the star is the LRAV 4 Alpha. We've checked those constraints, there's no modifications. The approach, we're using 0.1 minima. Okay, I might put a speed at Abubu. Might put 220 there. It might help us with the slowdown. Fact, what is our green dot? Oh yeah, so it'll work. so that's the only mod for the approach, 220 knots. So we'll start configuring flap 1 as we start the approach. There's no ambers here on the approach. The FAP is Amubu. It's a 3.2 glide path. Final approach mode, down to a DA of 0.1 minima. We'll put that in later. And GPS primary accuracy is high, all good at this stage, and they're both in nav. Transitions 150. Terrain is, it's up to us to remain terrain clearance today, so we'll just stick to arrival on the approach. MSA from the aerodrome reference point is 10,000 feet within 15 miles or 11,400 within 25. So 10,000 within 15 miles. Now, I didn't talk about the mist approach. If we do the mist, it's again, don't exceed 145 until we pass what is it? Liptapoo. God, some of these bloody names. They've got 150 in there, it's fine. We can handle that. It'll be flap 3 anyway as we turn around. It's a big circle. Heading south. We'll set 9,000 initially for the mist approach because it's at or below 9,000 at Turnri. And then for the cleanup, we can start cleaning up. Oh, this has all changed. Wow. Looks like we can start cleaning up after Lippu. The acceleration point's 4,000 feet. So as soon as we hit 4,000 feet and we've passed Lippu, we can start cleaning up. Cool bananas. What else can I talk about on the approach chart? So initially it's 9,000 feet on the mist. We set that because once you go into once you start accelerating, once you get to acceleration altitude 4,000 feet, it goes to open climb, so it doesn't look at any constraints. So you set 9,000 feet, and then once you pass Turnri, we can set 10,000, climb to 10,000 feet on the mist approach. So that's the charts, terrain we talked about, weather we talked about, operationally 0.1 minima. Mist approach we talked about, stable gate will be 2,200. Low max landing weight, and fuel wise, yeah, we've got heaps of extra gas, so we can come in for another go if we want. Cool. So that's a brief. Top of descent 40 miles. Actually, go flight plan. I don't see this plus 6,000 on my chart. Mist approach climbs to 10,000 feet via the RNAV RNP mist approach track to hold to Invercargill VOR, hold Sungu 10,000 feet. Mist approach not fully contained in controlled airspace and able to cross a be at or above 6,000 feet. Oh, okay. Right. So it's yes, ATC containment, controlled airspace containment. It's not a terrain thing, it's an ATC thing. Okay, I'm just going to have a look at my company chart now. So I'm going to brief that. Okay, so at or above 6,000, it's an ATC restriction. It is VUV. Top percent, I see. Okay, I'm just going to put the constraints in according to my chart for the missed approach. I don't... 55. It's different. It's different. Max 175, 557. Okay. Alright, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete that. And this on my chart is 175. And I'm going to delete that. Insert top percent. Okay, so the plus 6,000 is just to the north. I need to have a look at the plan view. Okay, I'll have to put that 6,000. There should be a waypoint about here. There's not, so I'll put 6,000. I don't think I can now. Oh, it didn't like me taking them out. Okay, here we go. 175, 6,000. That's it. Okay, that's fine. Top percent. Coming up. Right, 9,000 there. That's good. Yep. So we're all good. Okay, brief complete. Okay, let's see if we can get a weather update. Zero 104. Okay, still 05. Great viz. Base at 1200. 3 degrees. 1017. Okay, 1017 set. Okay, cool. Okay, let's say we're cleared to 10. Descent out 10,000 blue. Aristotle. Well, there's one thing I want to make sure doesn't happen, that I get the FLS, which you can't use on curved approaches, so yeah, it knows not to do that, so that's good. Queenstown traffic, New Zealand 607, just past El Rav, descending through flight level 280, descending 10,000. We'll be descending on the El Rav 4 Alpha for the RNP Alpha Yankee 05, Queenstown. Speed. Aristotle. Now, there's our cloud layer. Oh, that's a pain. Can't see it. Oh, this flight's dragging out. Okay. Okay, one more weather check before we go up on 20. I'll just get this going. Okay, good. 20,000 feet. Flight attendants prepare the cabin for landing. GPS primary accuracy is high. GPS primary accuracy high. We're doing 0.1. 0.1 Manma, confirm. Yep, 0.1. And they are still both a nav. Oh, there is a max speed 170 at, okay. I thought there was. I'm just looking at my company chart and here, SATA, max speed 170. Okay, and nothing else. Okay. transition, NZQNH 017. Check is set and cross check through 314,700. Now check. Now we might get some terrain warnings, which obviously you wouldn't get in real life because they're all what's the word? Basically hidden from the aircraft because of the tolerances, so you don't get those nuisance warnings. But if we do, we'll just turn off the radar, terrain radar, if we get up. Okay, that's actually the Remarkables right there, I think. Okay, let's activate approach phase. Approach phase activated. Okay, we're clear for the approach, so we'll set 3100, which is the FAP altitude. We're in descent mode, and we've got alt 10,000 magenta. Okay, let's go flap 1, speed check, flap 1. Starters max speed 170, so we'll keep an eye on that. It's coming up, so I'm going to pull speed. Set 170. Just to coax it below the next flap speed. Set 180 for now, actually. Flap 2, speed check. Flap 2. Cold wintry day in Queenstown. Okay, coming up 10,000 feet. 170. Approach checklist. RF, QNH 1017. QNH 1017. Seatbelts on, minima. Barrow 1560 feet. Water brake, medium. Engine mode select is norm. And RNP is 0.1. Approach checklist split. Right, so this is pretty much the only speed constraint, the 170 for us. In real life, from Asada, it's coded with a glide path of 3.2 degrees all the way down to the runway. Speed, L constraint star, descent blue. L constraint. Temperature's cold. We're about to go into it. So, engine 1 and 2 anti-ice on. Thrust throttle descent out 8200 magenta. So it's coded all the way back to from here basically, so you don't have these level segments. So it's just basically continuous descent. But it's a deviation from, well, it's not actually, yeah, because the FAP for us would be Omubu, but if it was coded all the way back from SADA, that would be the final descent point, sorry. Yeah. Right. Nice little tailwind, 4 knots at this stage. Keep an eye on that. We can do 8 with brakes medium. clear for the approach. Approach no final blue. We'd normally want to see a blue arrow down. Just going to set this lower. So hopefully we get a blue arrow down. That's obviously not standard, but okay, gear down, manage speed. Out 3100 magenta. Actually, I'm probably a little bit premature there. I'll just select 160. Check. See, normally you'd have a blue arrow down at the FAP, and you'd be in final approach mode by now. But we'll keep an eye on it. Final approach.
2000.
Speed. Speed's managed. Okay, we'll set 9,000 for the mist. 9,000 set. Flap 3, speed check. Flap 3. Now we might get a terrain warning off the remarkables, but we're just going to disregard that. Flap full. Speed check. Flap full. Main checklist. EQ ammo. Landing no blue. Land checks complete. Alright. There we go. It's very white in Queenstown. Township off here, although, yeah, it's not great, is it? Need some more buildings here, please.
1000.
Stable. Slight tailwind, only a couple knots though, so it's within our limits for brakes medium. Ooh, the hump on the runway is not realistic. It's not like that in real life. That's checked. Disengage.
Minimum 500.
Continue. Oh, I've got to try go around. Okay, go around.
100.
Flap. Flap 3. Mantoga SRS nav. Auto thrust is deposit climb. Gear up. Gear up. AP1. Okay, I got to check this out. See how this goes. Queenstown, New Zealand 607. Missed approach 05. Not that I was doing my inbound calls anyway. Alright, so let's see how this goes. So max 175. Acceleration is, thrust factor is at 3000. Acceleration's at 4. lever climb. Thrust climb. Auto thrust. Right, so it should go 175 at 4,000. Open climb. And that managed speed should be 175. It's okay. We're going to pull speed and set 160. It's good. Okay, we're above airspeed. We're above acceleration altitude for one engine. So I'm just going to go flap 2. Speed check flap 2. And we'll just keep it there like that. Okay, so it's max speed 175 to 557 and below 9,000 feet to Turnry. +6, so we're good for ATC containment. Turn the engine and the ice off. Got a bit of time, folks. Captain speaking. Conditions been suitable for a landing, so we're carrying out a missed approach, and we're going to be diverting to Invercargill. Bye bye. Right. Okay. So. Speed out star. So I'm just going to increase the speed to 170. Out. Okay, now we can clean up. Flap 1, speed check, flap 1. Speed's managed. Flap 0, speed check, flap 0. Nice job, Toliss. Right, maintain 9,000 feet to Turnry. Acceleration flow. Done. And then after Turnry we can climb to 10,000 feet. Alright, I think it's enough fun for one day. We'll call it quits. Adios.